Good day and welcome to this particular program, Policy Advocacy on Genetics and Genomics. My name is Ibrahim Ahmad Atiku from Nigeria. Together with me is my colleague Mba Arnold Mingo from Cameroon. We constituted Group 9 Affirmative Team and we support the topic: should the use of gene editing such as CRISPR-Cas9 to develop next generation antibiotics be a public investment priority in Africa? Of course, yes. By way of introduction, gene editing technologies like CRISPR-Cas9 have huge potential in combating antibiotic resistance. Antimicrobial resistance is a major public health threat in Africa. Africa bears a significant burden of infectious diseases, making effective antibiotics its priority. Gene editing technology like CRISPR-Cas9 will allow precise modification of DNA, which can help create targeted therapies that reduce the risk of resistance and thus address the major public health threat in Africa. Should the use of gene editing technology to develop next generation antibiotics need a second thought to be given priority of investment in Africa? Of course not. Why? Because Africa is in their need of gene editing technologies to develop next generation antibiotics. This particular team, we support the use of gene editing techniques to develop next generation antibiotics be given priority of investment in Africa. Effective antibiotics are crucial for treating infections, preventing epidemics, and supporting healthcare system. CRISPR-Cas9 can speed up the development of new antibiotics by allowing precise editing of bacterial genomes. Africa's poor healthcare system challenges and poor access to the existing substandard antibiotics could be addressed by investing the use of gene editing technology to develop next generation antibiotics. Constructive arguments. The global healthcare background faces an unprecedented challenge in the form of antimicrobial resistance, which fundamentally threatens our ability to effectively treat common bacterial infections, particularly in Africa. This growing crisis represents one of the most critical public health concerns of the 21st century and is characterized by the evolution of bacteria that reduce the effectiveness of drugs intended to combat them. The World Health Organization has emphasized the urgent need for coordinated global effort to address the antimicrobial resistance crisis. Understanding the extent of antimicrobial resistance crisis in different parts of the world is essential, and Africa is of course not exceptional. Why gene editing techniques investment in Africa to develop antibiotics should be given priority? One, improving public health. CRISPR-based microbiome editing in Nigeria as a case study. Researchers at the Federal University of Technology, Minna, Nigeria, explored CRISPR-based microbiome editing to reduce pathogenic bacteria in the gut and respiratory tracts, as reported by Temitayo et al. 2025. CRISPR offers a precision public health tool for endemic diseases like tuberculosis, typhoid, etc. It has also reduced reliance on broad-spectrum antibiotics and lowered the risk of resistance. Secondly, providing rapid development. Phage-based CRISPR delivery in Nigeria. A case study. A phage-based CRISPR delivery system to target drug resistance Staphylococcus aureus strain were developed by a team from 8th Healthcare Foundation in Lokoja, also in Nigeria, reported by Onyentiki et al. 2025. This model enabled rapid development of targeted antimicrobials within weeks compared to years for traditional antibiotics. This is an advantage. This is a scalable model for outbreak response and hospital-acquired infections. Thirdly, why gene editing techniques investment in Africa to develop antibiotics should be given priority is solving limited healthcare infrastructure. CRISPR-Cas system for decentralization diagnostics. CRISPR system can be integrated into portable kits for detecting resistance genes and guiding treatment without needing full lab infrastructure. This model reduces dependence on centralized labs and support healthcare delivery in rural and underserved areas. It also enables real-time surveillance of resistance patterns. Why some argue CRISPR should not be a priority for Africa investment, thinking that high cost is a problem. This our team believe that high cost should not be a problem to Africa. Africa is a very rich soil that only lacks efficient food management. Africa is bestowed with several natural resources. Take Nigeria as an example. Several natural resources ranging from petroleum, gold, etc. What Africans need is efficient fund management and bold decisions. Imagine Dangote was able to build the world's largest refinery in Nigeria alongside cement and fertilizer factories. These factories were able to export high quality products of petroleum, cements, and fertilizer not only to African countries, but also outside Africa. With dedication, therefore, Africa can build advanced laboratories that can handle CRISPR technologies. Another example is during the COVID-19 lockdown. Nigeria, like other African nations, were able to standardize their laboratories for research and taking care of the situation. The issue of public trust was also raised as a problem. Public trust should also not be a concern. Here in Africa, we administer foreign vaccine and immunization. We import medicine. We travel abroad for medical issues joyfully. We even patronize herbalists and all sorts of traditional medicine. If we can do that, why not? Having confidence in standard African manufactured antibiotics from CRISPR technologies. Is that an excuse? In conclusion, as we have seen from the case studies reported in this presentation, by investing in CRISPR-Cas9 technologies, Africa can develop effective antibiotics for priority pathogens. Africa can enhance healthcare system and public health. It can foster innovation and economic growth in biotechnology. In supporting CRISPR-Cas9 research, African can train African scientists in gene editing and antibiotics development. Also, in research grants, supporting CRISPR-Cas9 research and development for antibiotics discovery will attract funding. Here are some of the references for perusal. Thank you very much for your time and attention. Thank you for listening.